probably wondering what happened to Peaches and Max, and now that I have this child, where is the other two dogs? You probably weren't wondering that, but oh well. Peaches and Max actually belong to my brothers. Peaches belongs to one of my brothers, and then Max belongs to another one of my brothers. And this dog in my arms is my mom's dog, and he is precious, and I thought I'd steal him for this intro. His name is Louie. Hi, Louie. I don't know if we're gonna change it or not. We might change it. Hey, here, I got you. He's so tiny. What, do you not like this? Here, there you go. He's a cuddler. And we made him a little sweater out of a fluffy sock. Mama, boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. Well, look at the camera. Show your cute face. Do you not like the lights? Do you not like it? I'm trying to show you off to the world, okay? Let's take you back to Mama. Today we're going to be making custom pins, and you can also do that with me. I guess this is a DIY video. I just want to make pins. So let's make pins. Here are the shrink inks that we are going to be using to make said pins. If you're not familiar with shrink plastic, it's pretty much a sheet of this plastic stuff that, when stuck in the oven, shrinks to become a hard plastic you can make things out of. These are the instructions. They come in English, Spanish, and French for some reason. Since I already know what I'm doing, I'm going to bring in these quarters of piece of paper to start sketching out my ideas. Bringing out the Create This book, we're going to be making this little dude as a pin. Teff. What kind of name is Teff? So I'm just going to begin sketching out an enlarged picture of this creature. The best way to make shrink plastic pins is to first sketch out your design on a piece of paper, then put the plastic on top and color it that way. Moving on to the next design. It's a fly. I'm drawing a fly. I have no idea where this idea came from, but I drew this fly with some very large eyes, then proceeded to name him Albert. He's a precious boy and is very attracted to light, so we try and keep him away from that so we don't have any accidents. Next. This is actually a reference to what I talked about 2 weeks ago. I mentioned that in geometry I doodled strange little creatures out of shapes, and this is one of them. Wow, these are moving really fast. This next one is a little pot with a small, wimpy looking plant in it. It looks like a lot of plants near where I live. But this pot hasn't been treated very well. It's seen better days, so the face is just meh. I thought I was done, but then I realized that the derpy plant was just a little too derpy. So I went and erased it to make it into a thicker line so that when it was stuck into the oven, it wouldn't get messed up. Next design, here we go. This one was kind of a last minute idea because I honestly didn't have any more ideas for pins, so I just settled on this cute little fox. And here are all of the finished designs. I took some of the plastic and cut that into quarters as well so that I could put it on top of the sketch to color it. Tape that in place. And begin coloring. The instructions suggested using alcohol-based permanent markers, acrylic paints, and paint markers. These Ohua markers are alcohol-based. I have used these markers on shrink plastic before, and it worked out fine. It's a little transparent afterwards, but they didn't cause any major issues. last pin that I sketched out, but I did bring in this other sketch that I saved from the last time I made pins because I wanted to make a mushroom pin for myself. I made some for my friends, but I didn't actually end up making a mushroom for me. Adding a nice thick outline and then cleaning up. Here we are with all of the designs colored, and apparently a headphone cord. Now it is time to cut out each and every one of these designs. It's always really annoying to cut these because you either want to bubble cut it, go right to the edge, or cut it so that a shape is around the design or something funky like that. And the plastic in its raw form, I guess, tends to be a little fragile when cutting. For the triangle, I was trying to figure out how to cut around the little arm things, so I ended up just bubble cutting around them. Going back to what I said earlier, the plant one did crack as I was cutting it, and it ended up being a bit annoying later. But finishing that up, we now have 6 cutout designs ready to stick in the oven. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Lay down some parchment paper. Then put the pins onto the sheet with a decent amount of space between each one because when they are shrinking in the oven, they tend to flop around. And into the oven we go. When I took them out, the fox was all mangled, so as quickly as I could, I pulled it apart and flattened it with a spatula. You want to do this as fast as possible or else the designs will harden in their mangled state. As you can see, they have all shrunk significantly and are now a hard, sturdy plastic. The plant didn't really work out. The pot color was clearly way too dark and the crack that was made earlier is rather visible, but I'm convinced it adds to its charm. Now, Albert the fly. I made the mistake of placing the part I colored face down and part of the color sort of melted onto the parchment paper and now he has a crease down the side of his face. But once again, it adds to his charm. Time to bring in the pin backings. I got these off of Amazon, of course, and oh, you're just gonna pour the entire thing out. I took some super glue and went ahead and glued the pin backings onto each of the pins. Whoops, I forgot to mention, I took these outside and sprayed a few layers of gloss clear coat over all of these. The only thing now is, I don't have anything to stick these pins onto. So I quickly made this little cork board out of a bunch of corks that we have for literally no reason, and went through the process of gluing all of these corks together. Then took it outside and spray painted it white. And my idea with this is to make it magnetized to this Scrabble magnet board I made in another video. So we're going to flip that over, grab some magnets, and get gluing. is the completed corkboard and pins. I'm actually really happy with how these came out. I'm now realizing that I should have painted the back of each of the pins white before I put the pin backings on, but I always realize these things after the fact. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's rather simple video, and I'm sorry I posted this kind of late, but I hope you have a fantabulous rest of your day. Bye!